Chile just released the final list for the World Cup qualifiers, and like in the past, the team seems very thin in the midfield. Despite a few unfortunate injuries, the absence of backup options shows a lack of belief in the alternative options available, or a belief that this area of the team is not so significant. With the aging of key players like Wilfred and Ndidi and Iwobi, it has become imperative that Nigeria begins to take a closer look at its options moving forward. In this video, we analyze, compare, and rank Nigeria's present options in midfield based on quantifiable data from the last 2 seasons, including Chrisantus Uche, and uninvited players like Tino Anjorin and Ebenezer Akinsanmiro. Let's get into it. As we get into the video, we implore you to subscribe to our channel. We urge you to keep supporting our channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing our videos as we strive to create a lot more exciting content for your viewing pleasure. Before going into the video, we must make a comment about Chile's recently released list for the final round of World Cup qualifiers. Chile's team selection remains suspect with initial omission of Chrisantus Uche before making a U-turn to include him after injuries to Fisayo-Dele and Osai Samuel. There is no excuse for having just 4 midfielders in the list at this crucial stage of Nigeria's campaign to qualify for the World Cup. If there were any injuries in midfield for Nigeria before the inclusion of Chrisantus Uche, Nigeria would have been in all sorts of trouble. The inclusion of Chrisantus Uche in the Super Eagles in its last set of matches was heralded as a welcome development as it presented Nigeria with options in midfield due to his flexibility. In a situation where Nigeria was presently thin in midfield due to injuries, it is strange that he was initially not included in the team. Not to beat a dead horse, but Chrisantus Uche played in midfield in the past, and his attacking instincts suggest that he could fit in nicely in the attacking midfield role where his physicality could be an asset. Although he would have been more suited in the more physical matches against Rwanda and South Africa, having him as an option in the last round of qualifiers would have been a no-brainer. It makes no sense that Chile invited 9 strikers in a team needing more creativity in midfield than goal scorers, as getting the ball to the attackers has been Nigeria's problem and not an absence of strikers. Also puzzling is that Nigeria has no natural right-back in the team to prosecute the impending qualifiers in an area which a problem area for the Super Eagles. However, this video is not about the issues that need to be dealt with to qualify, as we have discussed this in earlier videos. In this video, we focus on the midfield with the qualifiers and 2025 Nations Cup on the horizon. The players considered for the ranking include existing midfield options and players eligible to play for Nigeria, but have not yet put on the green-white-green, which include Wilfred Ndidi, Iwobi, Frank Onyeka, Joe Aribo, Fisayo-Dele Bashiru, Raphael Onyedika, Alhassan Yusuf, Samuel Chukwueze, Chrisantus Uche, Tino Anjorin, and Ebenezer Akinsanmiro. Comparative analysis by metric. To start the analysis, we'll compare the attributes that make them midfielders and how these attributes help them fit into specific roles in midfield. For this purpose, we'll use data from EA Sports game ratings, which players themselves have used not just for bragging rights, but also by soccer fans to evaluate their favorite players relative to their personal opinions. EA Sports game ratings are derived from a combination of real-life statistics, performance metrics, and advanced analytics. The process involves evaluating players' performance across various attributes, weighing them according to their position, and combining the results to create an overall rating. Without further ado, let's start with skill level. Samuel Chukwueze's skills are more suited to wide positions, but his dribbling skills are exceptional, and he is definitely the most skillful among Nigeria's midfielders, and the EA Sports ratings affirm this. Iwobi also exhibits high technical skills, particularly in tight spaces like Chukwueze, but has more experience using his skills to dictate play from the middle. All the others are decent and possess a solid technical foundation, but may lack the finesse of the aforementioned players. Aribo has, however, been known to on occasion dribble through defenses with careless abandon, and so it is surprising his numbers aren't higher. Akinsanmiro shows promise and shows flashes of brilliance, but the ratings show that at his young age, he is decent even today. Work rate. Ndidi and Onyeka are known for their relentless work ethic, covering significant ground and contributing defensively. However, Ndidi has slightly regressed due to his age, which has significantly affected his speed, confirmed by his ratings for pace. Uche's work rate has been commendable, especially considering his attacking roles. Iwobi's work rate is consistent, though sometimes more focused on offensive duties. Onyedika's work rate is improving, and Chukwueze's commitment can vary. Akinsanmiro's work rate is yet to be fully assessed, but at club level he seems decent so far. All the others are equally decent. Passing ability. Iwobi excels in this area, with his ability to pick out key passes and dictate the tempo of the game. Uche has shown promise in this regard, with his vision and passing range standing out in La Liga. Ndidi's passing is efficient but more conservative. Onyeka, Aribo, Dele Bashiru, and Onyedika are competent passers, while Chukwueze's passing is more direct and less intricate. Akinsanmiro's passing ability is equally decent and shows a lot of promise of even improving further as he matures. Defensive abilities. Ndidi has been the benchmark for Nigerian defensive midfielders for years, with his interceptions and tackles consistently ranking high. However, Onyedika has come into his own after his initial promise at Midfield and earlier Brugge career. Onyeka is also strong defensively, breaking up opposition attacks effectively. Uche has demonstrated defensive awareness, though his primary role is more offensive. Iwobi, Dele Bashiru, and Aribo contribute defensively, but are not primarily recognized for their defensive skills. Chukwueze's defensive work is often limited, so it is not one of his major assets. Akinsanmiro's defensive abilities are yet to be fully tested, but he shows immense promise both offensively and defensively. Shooting ability. Fisayo-Dele, Bashiru, and Iwobi have shown amazing potency going at goal from midfield, having scored 14 goals and 16 goals in the last 2 seasons respectively. Uche has shown an eye for goal, with a few goals and assists in La Liga, but his overall play and pressing have been his strengths. Onyedika occasionally shoots at goal from long range especially, but is not prolific. He has, however, scored a few pivotal goals on occasion. Ndidi and Onyeka's shooting is limited, with few goals to their name. Chukwueze's shooting is more prominent in wide areas and equally scores vital goals, but is quite inconsistent. As on one occasion he could score a beautifully placed goal, and on another it could be like he is aiming for stadium lights. Akinsanmiro is also known to score the occasional goal, so his shooting ability is decent from medium close range. Considering these metrics, creating an objective ranking system can be difficult because the comparison criteria could be weighted differently by different people. However, based on these FIFA 26 game ratings, Sofascore ratings, Transfermarket.com, and league record of the midfielders, certain conclusions can be made. With that said, on to the rankings. Attacking midfielders. In attacking midfield, the prior mentioned midfielders can be ranked as follows. Number 1. Alex Iwobi. His technical skills, passing ability, and recent goal contributions place him at the top, and this is reflected in his FIFA 26 ratings. However, he is 29 years old and possibly would not be fit enough to hold the reins by 2030. Also, these ratings are based on his output in the left wing position which he plays at Fulham. In the Super Eagles, he remains the most proven and consistent creative force in the team. He presumably continues to get time playing in this role for the Super Eagles for this reason. Number 2. Fisayo-Dele Bashiru. The numbers suggest that his pace is his standout quality, as only Chukwueze, who plays more on the wings, is faster. While his market value is lower than the rest, his statistical output is fantastic. 14 goals from midfield in the last 2 seasons is highly impressive. His high Sofascore rating reflects his strong performances also. At 24 years, he has significant potential to grow beyond his current projection. Number 3. Chrisantus Uche. Although he plays in the attacking role at club level, his FIFA 26 rating, Sofascore, and individual attribute ratings suggest that he could potentially be developed to play the attacking midfield role for Nigeria. His career potential rating does suggest that he potentially is the future at the age of 22 years, with very few creative options coming through the ranks for Nigeria in this role. His physicality will also be an asset in more physical midfield battles, especially when playing fellow African teams and in a situation where Nigeria wants to play 2 strikers up front. His only limitation is his pace, possibly due to his size, but he more than makes up for this with his skill and defensive output, which is very vital for a present-day Super Eagles that frequently concedes cheap goals. Number 4. Samuel Chukwueze. While talented, his contributions are more suited to wide positions and his performances have been inconsistent. He definitely has the skill set for the attacking midfield role, but his work rate, decision-making, and final ball is suspect. And this inconsistency is definitely an issue in attacking midfield, which generally is the engine room of the team. Chukwueze will likely be a good option in less physical matches and in matches where the opponent has decided to pack the bus. His dribbling skills would be an asset in unlocking such a defense or pushing them to make errors, but he must have 2 defensive midfielders behind him for this to work. Number 5. Joe Aribo. Aribo lost his starting place after missing pre-season for Southampton in the 2023-24 season after coming back from international duty with Nigeria. He then suffered an injury that made it difficult for him to win back his place in the team. Aribo will always be a good option in midfield for Nigeria if he can fight back to get playing time in his club or make a much-needed transfer to a club where he can rebuild his career. After spending significant time on the bench, he would require some time to rebuild the confidence to play once more at a top level. Number 6. Tino Anjorin. After a good start in the Premier League with Chelsea, his career stalled due to injuries. His technical abilities and vision have regained him some recognition in the last season since moving to Torino. He is, however, still a good option for Nigeria, as Eric Chile should definitely continue to explore all options in an area which has been a problem area for the team. Tino has been rumored to have pledged his allegiance to Nigeria, so it is surprising that he hasn't earned a call-up yet under Chile. Number 7. Ebenezer Akinsanmiro. His performances in domestic competitions have been promising on his loan move from Inter, and he is considered a player with a bright future. At 20 years old, already playing first-team football in the Italian league in the midfield position, he potentially is ready to be an option for Nigeria. His ability to dribble, build up attacking play, as well as win back the ball for his team is a real asset to a team. If he continues to develop at the rate at which he is going, Nigeria might just have a Conte-type player in its future or near future, if given the chance, as his potential is massive. Defensive midfielders. In the defensive midfield role, the rankings are a bit clearer. Number 1. Raphael Onyedika. Onyedika is arguably the number 1 defensive midfielder Nigeria has at the moment, as the numbers say it all. It is hence mind-bugling that Ndidi continues to get a preferential starting position ahead of him, as Wilfred Ndidi is not the same player he once was. His offensive attributes gives him an added edge over Ndidi, and his FIFA 26 career potential rating shows that he is clearly the future for Nigeria in the defensive midfield role. The sooner Nigeria begins to incorporate him in the team, the sooner Nigerian begins to potentially resolve its midfield problems. Number 2. Wilfred Ndidi. Ndidi has been a cornerstone in Nigeria's midfield over the past decade and is known for his exceptional defensive capabilities. He definitely was one of the best midfielders in the world in his prime, but the numbers show he has considerably regressed with age. At 28 years old, he has gotten slower and lost a step or two. Although he still continues to perform at a commendable level in the Turkish league, Nigeria should probably begin the transition to using Onyedika more regularly, as his career is more on the ascent than Ndidi's. Number 3. Frank Onyeka. Onyeka has been a reliable presence in midfield both for Brentford and the Super Eagles, and is known for his work rate and defensive contributions. His ability to keep on going is legendary, hence the name The Tank, and is the perfect third leg in a 3-man midfield for Nigeria. Despite his average physicality, he is able to cope with most physical situations going toe-to-toe with more physically strong players, and so he is able to bring in more physicality and passion than his size suggests. Number 4. Alhassan Yusuf. A dynamic box-to-box midfielder, Yusuf is known for his physical presence, composure under pressure, and ability to contribute both defensively and offensively. He is a recent addition to the Super Eagles and brings versatility, defensive solidity, and a fearless character that far exceeds his physical stature. His FIFA 26 rating and potential indicate he could become a key player in the future if he develops physically, as his size may be an issue against more physical African teams. However, he makes up for this with passion and relentless running, which could equally be an asset in a 3-man midfield. Honorable mentions: Carney Chukwueze. After losing Noni Madueke and Eberechi Eze to England and Michael Olise to France, one other player that Nigeria stands a chance of getting is Carney Chukwueze. Carney Chukwueze is another versatile player who can play on the wings or in the middle of midfield, and his skills suggest that he could be an option for Nigeria. If Nigeria can qualify for the World Cup, there is a chance that he would consider playing for Nigeria if invited. Leslie Ugochukwu. This is another young player Nigeria has been courting for a while. However, he is not presently an upgrade over Nigeria's present options, as Nigeria is not deficient in the defensive midfield position. His FIFA 26 rating is 73 with a low pace rating of 64 and shooting rating of 58, which are not exactly impressive numbers. Just like Chukwueze, Nigeria stands a chance of getting him if they qualify for the 2026 World Cup and still want him. The Super Eagles midfield boasts a blend of experience and emerging talent, and Eric Chile should make more of an effort to explore all his options. While established players like Iwobi and Ndidi continue to provide stability, the inclusion of younger players like Chrisantus Uche and maybe Ebenezer Akinsanmiro should introduce more youthful energy and physicality to the midfield. Also, we must realize that different scenarios call for different players that possess specific qualities that fit a specific situation or objective. The best dribbler may not always be the best option in every scenario, just like the most physical midfielder might not always be the best in every scenario. As the team evolves, the synergy between these players will be crucial in achieving success on the international stage. Thanks for watching. If you like our content and found value in our often unappreciated efforts, please like, share, and subscribe so we stay encouraged to bring you more of such analysis and content. Also, please leave a comment letting us know whether you agree with our ranking or how you would have ranked them differently. See you in the next video.